gonna start the broadcast. So that means that we are now live. So hopefully people who are watching, just pardon us while we get some technical things squared away. We already have some people who are logged in. So now, Mike, go ahead and try that link and see if that works for you.
Okay, I already did. Should I kill this and hit it again?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to just stop doing this. And let's see, I wonder if I've got a little bit of a weird arrangement here. I might have Google Hang.
No problem. Yep, you're on right now. Let me mute. Okay, so you can probably now you see my video. Great. Okay. I have.
I'm on the phone still, Rudy. So
Yeah, you're good. So I can hear you on my side.
so we can hang up the phone.
We're good, brother.
All right, let's double check. Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. How's the volume? I've got some control over the volume here. Should I keep it about where it is?
Where you're at sounds perfect to me.
Okay, let's just leave it right there. It sounds like we're good. Are you seeing my Magicians Forum Presents screen?
I sure am.
Okay, so let's run through it. So that's the wide shot of me.
Beautiful.
And now the close-up, over the shoulder, and computer.
Perfect. Wow, that looks really nice and clear.
Good.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and present that main screen to everyone. If you want to, I think we're good to go. So we'll just mute, and then I'm going to pour myself a glass of wine and turn my camera off, and then we'll just give it 8 minutes to have folks start coming through.
Okay, I'm just starting to fire up this. I just want to make one more thing here, Rudy. Let's do this.
Sure.
And now what happened? There. Okay, does everything look okay still, and you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm going to mess around a little bit here. I've got a mirror in there. So what will I see? I'm seeing what I'm sending out over here.
Yeah, so what you'll, right now, because I gave you, right now you're presenting to everyone, so everybody's going to see your image, your screen, and then what they're going to see is at the bottom of the screen, some guests that I've given permission to join us, so you can have some actual dialogue with folks live. Right. So you'll begin to see them popping up at the bottom of the screen. They'll be muted for the most part, because sometimes that can become an issue as we get feedback into the form. But I think that we should be good to go, my friend.
Yeah, this looks good. I'm going to probably use my monitor over here. This one is showing me what you guys are seeing, so I should see the changes. Yeah, so I'll just leave this screen up, and that way when people dial in, they'll just sort of see you know, we're getting ready kind of thing.
Sounds good, my brother. So
All
I'll
right.
see you in. We'll be live in 6 minutes.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
I'm just going to hang out.
Bye, bro. Bye. By the way, hi, Nicholas and Shihan. It's good to see you guys. Oh, Nicholas can't hear it yet because he's putting on his headphones.
Hello.
Hi, Nico. How are you, my friend?
I'm fine. And you?
Good, man. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
Yeah, a lot.
So I'm glad you're here. There will be a few other fellas who will be joining us on the screen. For the most part, I'm going to keep it muted until Mike seems to be ready to take some questions. Okay. So thanks for being here, Nico.
And you mute ourselves, or we need to mute ourselves?
Well, if you can mute yourselves, that would be better. Then it'll give me less to worry about on my side of things. Is that okay?
Okay.
Right,
let me try.
Thanks, my friend. Let me see. I can still hear you. No, I'm just kidding. I can't hear you. No, that's good.
Fuck you.
I know, right? All right, man.
That was good.
All right, my brother. So I'm gonna sign off for a minute because I'm gonna just get a little glass of vino here while we hang out.
Excuse me. Here is. Fuck. This is not. Here. Do you know how do I do to put a big screen?
And you're gonna click on whatever. So if you wanted to see Mike, you're gonna click on his little box at the bottom where it says Michael. Click that, and it'll make him go big on the screen. So like maybe even if I do this right here, if I go, let me see. So do you see what I'm saying, Nico? If you click on the square at the bottom, you know, there's this little film strip. Click on whoever you want to see. That'll put them up on the screen. But for the most part, I'm going to have Mike Powers be the main featured person featured on screen. So I'll try to take care of that on my side.
Okay.
All right. So I'll be back in just a minute, my friend.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, Nico.
Hello, Screen Guard. Are you okay?
I'm doing good. It's very early for me, though. It's 7 in the morning, and I had a very late night.
No, here is a good time. Here is 5:55.
Oh, that's
PM.
a good time. It's a great time. How was Europe? Last time I saw you, you were going to Europe.
It was cool, fucking cool.
Yeah? What'd you do?
Yeah,
I saw you with Danny D'Ortez and.
Yeah, but not just Danny. I've been with Juan. I've been with a ton of great masters. The Gea. A lot of masters.
Oh man, sounds like fun. You get to.
Yeah, it was superb. It was really nice, and they really like. This is my first time there at Spain, and they really like my magic. So I'm super happy.
Oh man, that's to be told that they like your magic. That must be the highest.
Yeah, and now I'm about to live in a Latin American tour. I will be in just 30 days, more or less, 1 month. I will be at Peru, and then at Chile, and then at Argentina, and then at Uruguay, and then Brazil.
Oh wow! Okay, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
When does that start?
What?
When does that start? Is it like very soon or?
When is it going to start?
Yeah, your tour.
Yeah, in just 1 month.
1 month, wow. Okay, sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be more than 1 month. It's gonna be good.
Okay.
And you? How is your magic?
Oh, my magic, it's terrible. I'm still learning. I'm practicing on
We always still learn, you know.
But yeah, no, it's every single day. Yeah, I do. I'll take a. Oh, thank you. Oh, this camera.
David Bergkompas.
Hello.
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 Quite a number of people here. So, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I can just see 5.
Oh, there's quite a few more than that.
Ah, yeah. Maybe we are kind of the guys which are in bottom, but then the others are viewing. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, there's about 20 viewers right now.
Yeah, because they need to log out and then log on again to be here, not as a viewer but as a participant.
Yeah, over 50 registered, so.
Okay.
But not everybody might be able to make it.
All right, fellas. So I'm back. We're gonna get started in just in a couple of minutes. I want to give folks a couple of minutes to join here. Although we only have 2 hours, and so I want to ensure that we have the most time to allow Mike to teach us what he's got planned. We actually have about 70 people registered, so there's a number of folks, but there's several who can't actually be here. But you will have access to this video after we're done. I'll send the link off to you. It'll be a private link. So what'll be necessary for that is I'll send out the link, and if there's any issues with you viewing it, it's likely because I need the email address that you use to log on to YouTube in order to give you access to that private link. So that will be one of the issues to be aware of. So we'll just give another minute or so, and then I'll introduce Mike, and we're just going to get the party started. So we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, fellas? All right.
Cool. So, David, this is the first time I see you as a hangout. You are a new member here or not?
I've never been on a hangout with Rudy. No, actually, once before there was about 5 of us. I was not able to present anything. I was at work, so I was just listening and had my mug on the camera.
And you are a magician since when? Since a lot of time?
Let's see. I started in 1971.
1971. Before I born.
And then I took a break for about 20 years and just got back into it probably just over a year ago. I used to do a lot of mentalism. I used to travel quite a bit, going to conventions and lectures. And now I'm focusing pretty much just on cards.
Okay, that's good. Cards are good ones. I love cards.
All right. Well, it is 2:02.
Cool. That's it from Sam?
Yes. I just went over 5 years.
Nice, cool.
All right, fellas. Thank you for joining us. For those of you who don't know who the heck I am, my name is Rudy, and I'm part of a community called the Magicians Forum. Just a bunch of guys who love magic, just have a lot of these little online lectures and sessions that I think are valuable, and we have a really great community. So if you haven't checked us out, I invite you to go to themagiciansforum.com and take a look. I'm very thankful to Mike Powers for his willingness to share his magic with us, and I think really for $5, you're just going to you're in for a great treat. I've already had the privilege of watching some of the magic that he's performed. He shared with me what he's going to be showing us, and it's just going to be great. So I'm going to mute everybody on the bottom of the film strip. I think it's good to have some folks that Mike can actually interact with and who can ask questions. So the rest of you can, if you have any questions or want to make any comments, do so in that little chat box, and I'm going to be monitoring that, and I'll help field those questions and present them over to Mike so he can answer them. He shared with me that he's going to be having some trivia questions and prizes for those who are able to answer them. So really, he's gone all out to provide us with a very quality lecture. So I'm going to go ahead and mute some of you fellows. Actually, if you guys who are on the film strip, if you can mute yourselves, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Mike and let him introduce himself. So with no further ado, Mr. Mike Powers, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you very much, Rudy.
You're
Let's do a little test here. Is everybody able to hear me okay? Is that Thumbs up there. I see a few people on the bottom strip. Okay, great. We've got a complicated system here, so I'm hoping that I can use it effectively and make this, educational value a little higher than just one camera. So here's the views we have. This is the close-up view. This is the over-the-shoulder view from over my right shoulder. And then I have like a PowerPoint thing that I'm going to try to inject. And if I remember what's going on, I'll have the right buttons pressed. Rudy, you can kind of monitor me and go, hey, I think you want to get rid of that PowerPoint. It's hard to know what you guys are seeing. I guess I can see myself there, so maybe it's not so difficult. But I certainly want to thank Rudy for setting this up. He works really hard, and Magicians Forum's a wonderful place to be. So let's not spend too much time just talking. I want to get down to business. But I also want to not forget to give you guys a few things that you might find valuable. So I'm going to go to the PowerPoint. And remember, this is all being recorded. But if you go to my website at www.mallofmagic.com, there's a button on the front page for the IBM Card Corner. It's a column that I write. And if you click on the moves, you'll see around 50 card moves that may or may not be valuable to you. I'm sure many of you guys have a high expertise and don't need much help on moves. But when I write my column, I want to be able to say, hey, if you don't know how to do an Elmsley count, go to the move section, and you'll find something. You'll find a video that teaches that. So, I think I skipped ahead a little bit here. Did I get on that the password was Marlowe 7D?
I saw that, but it only flashed very briefly.
Okay, let's see if I can back it up a little bit here. Yeah, there it is. So there is a password so that, people that are just surfing to try to find out how magic works don't just get to watch these videos that teach the moves. So the password is Marlowe 7D, and then you have access to all those moves. Also at the website, there's a button on the home screen that references this lecture, live online button. And there's some free stuff. So if you click that button, I've added some things that you can download. The original PM Principle manuscript. A lot of people asked about the PM Principle, that it would be part of the lecture. And that the bonus sheet, as well as PM Plus, which is kind of the full-blown memorized deck version of it. So let's move away from the screen and get down to the first item. Because you're going to get a recording of this, you don't have to take notes, and I don't have to go back over everything. When I did my Penguin lecture, they said, they've got the video, so you don't have to go, let's look at that one more time. So I hopefully, if there's questions, please ask them in real time. But sometimes people want to, I wish I could look at that again, and you can, because Rudy's going to provide the video. Well, let's do something that I have fun with. I've got some poker hands embedded in these cards. There's all kinds of possible hands in there, and you guys are going to determine what hand you get. So it'd be a certain amount of luck, or perhaps some ability to see into the future a little bit. If I were to give the cards to one of you guys before we started it, I'd probably have you cut some cards like this and kind of mix the cards up a little bit before we got started. Now I'm going to let you see the first card that you choose, so you know if you're off to a good start. So let's take two cards, and I don't know if Rudy, can I hear you?
You should be able to hear me.
Okay, so do you want the card in my right hand or my left hand?
Let's take the one that's in your left hand.
The left hand, that would be this card. And when you reject a card, we just drop it to the bottom of the pile. So the card you took is an ace. Well, that kind of bodes well. Mm-hmm. Now there's two more cards. So right or left? It'll be my right or my left.
I'm going to take the card in your right.
Okay, I'm going to put it down, but we're not going to look. Last chance to change your mind?
No, we're good.
Gone. Once the cards drop, there's no going back. So we've got two more cards. I'm going to stand up for this. Are we on the? We're on. Yeah, I'm going to get the better angle. So Rudy, do you want the right or the left?
I'm going to take the one in your left this time.
A left hand, and this is the last chance, man.
I'm good with that.
Okay, there it goes. We have two cards to go to make a poker hand. So there's two more. What would you like to do, right or left?
Let's do your left hand again.
Left hand again. Now let's do this. I've got this other card that you rejected. Do you want to trade it for any of the three cards that you already put down? We've got a new option here. You can trade it for the number 1 at the top, 2 or 3, or just reject it.
You know what? Let's trade it with 1. The first card.
Trade it with number 1.
Yep.
So you're ambivalent about your first choice. We'll find out later if that was a a good idea, because we're down to the last card at this point. So I'm going to give you a chance to choose one more time. Which hand would you like?
Let's take the one on your right.
The right hand, last chance.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, well, I want to take a look at this last card here, because it might be interesting to know which card you rejected. Okay, the 10 of spades, not particularly high card. I don't know if it would have helped you or not. Let's take a look at what you've got here. Not bad, Rudy. Pair of aces, a king, another king. You got 2 pair. That was one of the ones that was built into the stack. Look at this. You got 3 kings and 2 aces. An incredible full house. Obviously, rejecting that 10 was a pretty good idea. Except, of course, you left me with this royal flush in spades here. So maybe it wasn't the best idea after all.
That's awesome. That's brilliant.
Thank you. It's a fun trick, and you can set. I decided to take the cards out. I saw Bruce Servan doing something recently where the spectators dealt these poker hands, and he said, "Oh, by the way, I brought my own poker hand," and he took it out of his pocket, which was really humorous. So the idea of starting with a packet and saying, "I've assembled some poker hands here," you can do it as a packet trick, or you can just take out the kings, aces, and the rest of the royal flush cards as your openly, and just say, I'm going to make I want to choose some cards because I want there to be some good poker hands here. So you can set this up right in front of people and just lay the cards down. The setup, I think I've got a little bit of a deal over here. Let's see. From the face, it's going to look like this. It'll be the 10 of spades from the face, then a non-royal flush card. So if we think of these as royal flush cards and non-royal flush cards, I'm going to save 2 aces for the end so that on that first card, you're going to get an ace. So I reserve 2 aces for the last 2 cards. And then we go back and forth from the face. So 10 of spades, a non-royal flush. Doesn't matter the order. Royal flush, non-royal flush, royal flush, non-royal flush, royal flush, non-royal flush, royal flush, and 2 aces. Other than the ace of spades, because that's a royal flush card. So it's just alternating royal flush cards, starting with the 10 and then ending with 2 aces. So you actually have 11 cards, and you're hiding out one of the cards at the end. The spectator will always get a full house, either aces over kings or kings over aces. So it's kind of cool, and it looks like they've got 2 pair, or sometimes they'll have 3 aces going on, and then it goes to the full house. So now, what you wanted, this is based on Elmsley's Poker Power, which he did at Fechter's a few years ago. In Elmsley's case, the method was to do a bottom deal each time. So he would recycle the rejected non-royal flush card and then add one more non-royal flush card, so that every time the spectator chooses, there's always non-royal flush cards. They can never get a royal flush card. You'll see in a second if it's not obvious. But I wanted to start off, the thing I didn't like was doing that bottom deal every single time to recycle that card. You know, it's a small packet, bottom deal probably works, and you can necktie it. But I wanted to come up with a method that didn't use any bottom dealing. So I also wanted to simulate this peeling. So the first time it's like 1, 2, I've really peeled legitimately the top 2 cards. Those are those 2 aces that were placed there at the beginning. Oh, by the way, I think you guys all know the JOZ false cut, but in case there's somebody who doesn't, this is a little beautiful thing in Magic, that you can have spectators seemingly mix up the cards. So the premise is cut some cards to your left, cut some more cards to the middle, cut some cards to the right, then reassemble. That really looks like a false cut. The fantastic thing is, to really do the cut, you should reassemble it this way, and that would really
quickly, Mike,
really cut the deck. So when it looks, the fake one looks real and the real one looks fake. It's awesome. So
Hey, Mike, really quickly, we're not being able to see. We're seeing right now your screenshot of your. There you go. So we missed the false cut.
I need you to keep me. That's what I need from you.
There you go.
Always feel free to inject that, because you knew I meant to come back, but I'm gonna forget. All right, okay. So the JOC false cut some cards to your left, cut some to the middle, the rest on the right, and reassemble left to right. That's a false cut. I won't belabor it anymore. Try it out. It fools your eye. And the real cut would be to assemble backwards, and that looks wrong. but that really is the way to make a true cut. So it's a wonderful thing to put in the spectator's hand and say, why don't you go ahead and do this? And apparently they've now changed the order of the cards when they haven't. So the top 2 cards are aces. And the Elmsley, like I mentioned, is going to use a bottom deal. I wanted to get away from that. I wanted to come up with something that looked exactly like the real deal. Peel 2 cards. I really peeled the top 2 cards. I want all the rest of them have some trickery. I don't want them to look exactly like that, and I think they do. So the spectator initially chooses any card. They're going to get an ace, and you establish that you reject the other card to the bottom. You show them this card, so whoa, nice. You got an ace to start things off. Now here's the method for seemingly doing that same procedure of peeling 2. What you're going to do is peel the bottom card, which is a non-royal flush card, along with the top card, which is a royal flush card. Then you're going to take that top card back underneath the packet. So I think maybe the over-the-shoulder will, or a very close-up, maybe the over-the-shoulder shot will show that the best. So from the back, you can see things more clearly. I'm going to buckle the bottom card and then peel the top card into my left hand on top of that card. Now I've got kind of a tight grip. It looks like a single card, but if you look on the side, there's a humongous gap there. You don't stop here. You immediately come back to peel the next card. That's a non-royal flush card. And simultaneously, when the deck reaches this position, you take back this card. That is a royal flush card. So the royal flush card goes to the bottom, and you end up with 2 non-royal flush cards. It doesn't matter what they are. It depends on the spectator's first choice. So that one goes down, one goes here, and you're back in exactly the same situation. The top's a royal flush card. The bottom is not a royal flush card. You're going to take this one back. You seemingly peel the top card, but you peel 2 cards. Let's look at the front view for a second to see that it looks good. So I'm buckling the bottom card away, and now without hesitating, I just come right back, and it's 1, 2. I think I've looked at videos of this, and it looks to me as though you really peeled the top 2 cards. So I'm hoping that the illusion is good. Now, of course, these are non-royal flush cards. They make their choice. This goes to the bottom, and you keep going with that procedure. So get a buckle, peel, come back, and take. I hope everybody's clear that I take back the royal flush card, that I started with 2 cards instead of 1, and then took 1 back, always ending with the 2 non-royal flush cards. So they get the 3rd card. Obviously, you can offer them all these choices and have fun with the presentation and say, you can say, you know, do you want to trade this for these? It's fun to play with people and give them options and say, oh, you're worried about that one, we can trade for the other one. Because you always have 2 non-royal flush cards. So here's the last one. It's going to leave the 10 of spades on top of the deck for the big ending. So again, from the back view, I'm going to peel, I'm going to get that break, peel the top card onto that card, immediately come back over, take the card above the break, and peel the top card. So hopefully it's clear what that procedure is. Does anybody have a question about that?
It's very smart. I'll see if there's any questions. One question that I have for the folks here who are watching, I just want to make sure that everybody's able to see you clearly. There was a couple of points when I experienced just a quick little loss of a connection, but it could be on my side, and people might experience that on their side.
Well, I guess we're going to have to roll with it. Hopefully,
Jihan or any of the other fellows can tell me if you're able to see clearly.
Is everything good?
Let's see, you can't see anything, just a forward arrow. That's Tony saying that. Tony, I'm not sure what you're seeing exactly. One of the that people often have when trying to view online lectures is that they don't have Google Chrome installed, and that's a must. So I'm getting, it's lagging about every 5 minutes or so, but it's mostly good. So
okay. Yeah, I hope it's not my connection here.
Where, like right now, you're kind of skipping a little bit.
Yeah, you did as well. I'm hoping that my internet connection is solid. It should be. I've got a Comcast connection. It should be going out really fast.
Okay, good. All right. Well, then I guess unless I don't see any questions, somebody says for practice, only while practicing, we could have the right face cards face up so we can see what is happening. So only while you're showing us, I think he's wondering if we can have those cards face up to see what's actually happening. But
Sure. Okay, that's a good idea. Let me finish the final sequence here, because we've gotten down to we're done. I want to make the spectator believe that this last card that they rejected is the 10 of spades. The 10 of spades is the top card of the packet. And I've got a break under the 10, put this here, and say, now you could have traded for any of these cards, which kind of justifies putting this here. Then I just push forward, my thumb at the rear pushes forward on the double card, turns over, showing that 10 of spades and saying, well, this doesn't look like a great card for you. Let's see how you did. We've got 2 aces, a king, 2 kings, and 3 kings. So everything looks very good for them. This looks like it would have been bad, and then you have the line, you flip the double over, turn everything over. You're going to have to hold the bottom as the bottom 2 cards as 1, because we have the ace here. So you don't want them to see that black ace. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and a double card. And apparently you have the royal flush. And since they made all the choices, it ought to be strong and fun. Okay.
Okay.
And now
I think it's really, really strong.
Cool. The setup again from the top, we can reverse this so you can see it from the face-up situation, was 10 of spades, non-royal flush, royal flush, non-royal flush, royal flush, non-royal flush, royal flush, non-royal flush, royal flush, 2 aces. So you can go back and see that setup at the beginning on the replay. If I reverse this, you can see exactly what's happening. That's a cool idea. So let's go to the over-the-shoulder shot, and you can really see what's going on. So here's the situation in reverse. The first 2 cards that I peel are going to be aces, normal peeling. But I peel them tight because the other peelings that are tricky, I want them to look the same. So they choose one of these cards. Of course, it'd be face down. Then we flip it face up, and they get to see. Now, when we drop the ace at the bottom of the packet, it's going to get recycled, and this card is it's going to seem that I took this card as one of the choices. But when you look at what's happening, I'm buckling down on that bottom card, the ace, peeling the jack, and immediately coming back. So there's a big break there. My thumb covers any flashing at that corner, and it's 1, 2. Everything's moving all the time. And it's a natural motion. It's like, look, 1, 2. So that I took the jack back under this packet when I peeled the ace. I'll do it one more time, and then maybe we should try to move on so we get enough material into the lecture. So again, they're going to choose between 2 non-royal flush cards. That one goes to the bottom. Whatever they reject will get recycled. So one more time, and then probably that'll be enough. We'll ask you guys if there's any more questions. So peel, come back, take it back, peel the top card. So I took that queen back under my right-hand packet, once again offering them only non-royal flush cards. And that's the sequence right to the end. Are we good?
Is everybody okay on that? Hold on, let me make sure. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Let me see if there's any questions. Somebody was asking if if you did any false displays. This was from Chi Han saying, here's a quick question. Is there a particular false display you use at the end to hide that one leftover card? Yeah, I'm going to have the royal flush and 1 X card. So what I have at the end is going to be, the 10 will be at the very bottom. So I will have shown the double card. There's the 10, flip the double over. Now, the bottom card of the 6 is something I don't want them to see. I just hold the last 2 as 1, so over the shoulder, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's pretty easy to keep this squared. And when I take it underneath, I'm very careful not to let this edge flash. Now, the best way would be just to set them down. Sometimes I worry maybe this is going to open up or flare open. I like just setting them down and maybe just putting my fingers here just for a second to make sure that double card doesn't open up and give away that I have an extra card. So that's a pretty good looking display. It just looks like the royal flush. And you can pick it up, add it back to your packet, and there's really not going to be any evidence. They can't examine the cards because there's an extra card there. If you cop out 1 card, you could let them examine the cards too. So it's possible to end clean by copping out a card, but there are 11. Right. Any questions? Are we good, Rudy? I think we're good to move on because again, they can rewind this later on when they watch it. So
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's keep it moving. Oh, by the way, we're going to have a trivia question soon. I may as well point out what the prizes are. Get a little closer here. I've got some cool decks of cards that you can choose from. There's 4 trivia questions. You can get a pair of Sky Island decks is one trivia question. One of these decks, I got a Fournier 505, one of the Alexander decks, the Leaf back, a Carnival, and and also a plastic lady. This is a great trick. Don England's probably his best trick, using bicycle queens of hearts and a miniature bicycle queen of hearts. I've only got 10 of those left in the world that are going to be bicycle 808 backs for plastic lady with a queen of hearts. So there is one of them. And when we get to the trivia question, whoever wins can choose a prize. This next trick is very simple, and I hope it's not disappointingly simple. It's really effective, and I use it a lot. I'll give the full view here. Do I need to keep the cards high? Because when I put them down here, do they get behind the faces of people?
Mike, you are on top of it. Exactly. That's where we're gonna talk. I'm usually able to hide the film strip, but in this case, for some reason, the system is not letting me. So yeah, if you could just be mindful of that strip, we can't see.
Be a little bit higher up. Okay. Yeah. Well, let's do this. Let's have 2 cards selected. No setup here. I would have spectator number 1 select a card, and they said they want this card. I'll show them the card, so you guys can remember the 2 cards. That's one of them. And now we're going to have a second spectator also make a selection. So spectator number 2 says they want this card here, so we'll let them see that card. Can you guys got it? Okay. So two selections lost in the deck. Now I'm going to invite a third spectator, so I'll just call them Susan and Becky and John. So John, you're going to be the magician. Susan and Becky have made selections. They placed them back down in the deck. Your job as the magician is to find the selections. Now you're going to have to trust your intuition on this. I'm just going to spread the cards. I'd say go somewhere down near the middle maybe, and just touch a card. Just on into this one here, on intuition. Now one of 3 things is going to happen. That could be Becky's card, it could be Susan's card, or it could be neither card. Now, that third possibility sounds a little scary. It sounds like failure, but let's not worry about that yet. Let's just take a look at the card, and we'll ask, Susan, is the 8 of diamonds your card? She says no. Becky, is the 8 of diamonds your card? She says no. John, we're in that third situation where you seem to have failed, but let me ask you a question. If you were a great magician, would you find one card and then the other, or both at once?
Both at once.
So obviously, both at once. Let's see what I mean by that. If indeed the card that you selected wasn't one of their cards, maybe it's a locator card. It locates the cards immediately to the left and right of the card you touched. What was your card? The 10 of hearts. Your card, the 3 of spades. John, you are the star.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Yeah, it's a little weird not having even one person in the room with me to do it. I was going to have my dog up here for some company, but I thought he might start barking or something. So anyway, it's a little hard to be an actor and pretend that there are people. So bear with me on presentation. I'm sure that when you take this out into the real world, you'll realize that it's really fun to do this with people. No setup or anything. I think the method is pretty obvious to folks that have been around the block a few times. I'm going to have 2 selections made. One is controlled to the top, one to the bottom. To the top, I just wanted to simulate how I was going to use the bottom one, which is a convincing control. So I showed the 3 of hearts, got a break over it, and then just cut some cards, cut to the break. There's the 3 of hearts. These go on top. So one card's controlled to the top by any particular method. I'm using Ackerman's method for the convincing control. Maybe we should get closer here. Ackerman does this. You spread, the spectator points at a card. Let's say they point at this card. You're now going to square up, getting a break under the next card. So they're not actually going to get the card that they touched. They're going to get this next card because I'm squaring up and holding a break under the 2 cards. Your right hand comes back over and you let this break open up and grab those two cards, and now you're showing them a double card that is aligned perfectly.
Wow.
So that's a double card. It looks like it's the card they wanted. It's not a force card, but because of the double card, when you come back down, there's no funny business. You get to here, and now you can pull back. Let me get back to this view. Now you can pull back the 8 of hearts, the actual selection, and out jog the X card, and then run that to the bottom. Marlo's
really quick, your Canon camera is it stopped. It's saying
yeah.
Darn
it. Sorry for these things. We'll get it again.
It's part of the fun. It's live. It's
yeah, I know. I wish we wish there weren't these little faux pas and mistakes. How
never happens with the Penguin lectures, does it?
Yeah. How's the flow? Are we breaking up again, Rudy, or is it
doing good? I think it was on my side. In fact, I switched to my laptop, and now we're as clear as
okay.
Fantastic.
Good. Okay, so ultimately we're controlling one card to the top and one card to the bottom. I think that this view is probably good enough. So one card to the top, one card to the bottom. The other way to go to the bottom that you might find interesting if you like playing with other ways to do things is a Kelly bottom placement move, but not the usual method. The Kelly bottom placement is a horrible move in many ways. Your fingers wrap around the front. So looking at it a little bit closer, your fingers wrap around underneath the deck, allowing you to kick that bottom card over. Right. And then insert the rest of the cards above that. So this has been used, AKA the Ovett master move, right? Stop, here's your card, do this, right? They don't see it, of course, but you're doing this, kicking that card back, and then taking the card to the bottom. Alan Ackerman and I both share the view that it looks bad. And he has something called Ackerman varies Kelly. I've got my own take on how to do that move without that finger wraparound. So let's say somebody said stop, and you showed him the card. Now you say, hold on, you show him the card. Now you say your card's about halfway down in the deck. And I don't know if this is the best angle. I probably should stand up to get the right angle on it. So spectator says stop. You show them the card. You reach under, and they see you pull out a card. Then you put the deck back together.
That's a nice little touch.
And their card goes to the bottom. So the action on that from the exposed view, and I think the close-up is probably the best. You stop when they say stop. Get that outer right-hand corner between your third finger and your fourth finger out here. Now, between the thumb and that finger is where the action is going to be. So you reach over with your finger of your left hand, push the first card over. That's the one that we're going to control to the bottom. You reach in and pull the second card out. To them, that's the 5 of diamonds. Now, here's the cool thing. When you squeeze between your thumb and little finger, look at how that pops open.
Dude,
this pops way open over here, and you can bevel the deck towards that so that when you come in, this is what's happening. That's just going right in and to the bottom. So from the front, instead of your fingers wrapping around underneath, they barely move. You get to here, and that's it. I just did the move. Watch my right hand. The move is happening. I'm just causing that card to pop out. And now when you bring it back over, it rides right in to the bottom.
That's smart. Now that you're saying that's Alan Ackerman's, or is that your handling of Alan?
No, this is my version of varying Kelly. Check Ackerman's handling. It's a lot different. This is just a different way to do it, but I think it gets away from that original wrap your fingers around and kick this over. Just look at that from the front. It just looks wrong. Why are my fingers underneath that card? So it's just something to throw in. I hadn't intended to put that in the lecture, but it seemed like maybe somebody would enjoy seeing some variations on moves.
Now, is it a challenge to reach in? I noticed there's kind of a little bit of that moment where crap, the bloody thing's not coming out. Can that be a challenge? Maybe it's just dryness of fingers, or
I think my hands are very dry, unfortunately, and I didn't put any lotion on them. One thing I have to do is I usually adjust this packet so that I take the packet and adjust it so I feel that corner is exactly in the right place over here. And then this is a weird angle. If I were doing it in the real world, it'd be push over, push over, pull back. I'm
Yeah.
not getting it, am I? So that's exactly what your question is. Push
Yeah.
over, pull back, and go to the bottom. So that worked really well. You don't want to hesitate really. So that goes over. This one comes back. You flare it out, and there
Gosh,
it goes.
smart. That's really
Well,
smart, man.
okay, it's just a move. So there's other ways to control the card to the bottom. So ultimately, what you're doing, if we go back to the PowerPoint here, no setup, one selection on top, one on the bottom. To the bottom, I did convincing control. We talked about a Kelly bottom placement variation, and then the Curry business card prophecy move. So I think everybody's familiar with that, but just for completeness, there's a selection on top and a selection on the bottom. This wonderful move from Paul Curry is this. There's some variations where the cards are spread and people have done some work on it, but I just do the old-fashioned way. Somebody outjogs the card. So John says, let's look at that card. What you're going to do is take all the cards in your right hand, square them up, turn them over, and grab this card by its corner and come back around. You can see that this was the former top card. So we're really cutting the deck around that card. I know most of everybody knows this, but just for completeness, again, you come over, take the corner of that card, turn over and say, so Susan, was this your card? No. Now you replace these on top. That's the other selection. Now the selections are sandwiched between the card, and it's just all presentation. So it's two easy controls, a move that's hardly a move, and then just play with the spectators. It's really fun to make John the magician. He seems to have failed. And then if you were a great magician, would you find one card and then the other card? No, I'd find both cards at once. And then you spread them out and you're home free.
That's really smart, Mike. I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, it's very practical, very simple. I mean, so sometimes I feel like people are disappointed with this trick because it's so simple, but it's very, very effective. Okay, so let's look at, oh yeah, I forgot about this one. Hold on, this is cool. All right. Everybody's going to do this at home. I assume everybody's got a deck of cards?
Let me go get mine.
Grab a deck, quick. All right, meanwhile, Rudy can catch up with us as he gets a deck of cards. Cut your cards. You can shuffle your cards, except you already know they're shuffled. Cut your cards into 3 approximately equal piles.
Got it.
Okay, 3 approximately equal piles. Is everybody on board here? All right, now look at them. If one is much bigger, let's make this fair. Mine over here, this looks a little big. I'm going to put a couple over here. They don't have to be exactly equal. I just want them to be approximately equal so that I'm not drawn to one because it's bigger or smaller. They all look pretty much the same. Pick up any one of the 3 piles, and we're going to reject the other piles. I'm putting those away. All right, now everybody's doing this trick with me. You're going to have magic happen at your house today, I hope. We'll see how this goes. Go ahead and shuffle up your pile that you chose, so you have no idea what you got. And take a look at that bottom card. Now, we're going to be talking about a different card here in a minute. So put that card into your brain really solidly, because my old brain here is not what it used to be. I'm hoping I don't forget this card. All right, I'm pretty sure I've got it. Now take some of the cards and cut them to the table to your left, then some to the middle, then some to your right. And now reassemble, grab the ones on the left and kind of reassemble your packet. Okay, this isn't working on you, but if you were doing this on a friend, that's what I would do. Or if you're doing this on the phone, do that. Do you still remember your card?
Yes.
Okay, all right, everybody's got their card. Rudy, we're going to use your card as the special card. We're going to spell the name of your card. So what is your card?
My card is the King of Clubs.
Okay, no, what, none, what, oh, okay, so put your cards back on the table. Rudy's card is the King of Clubs. We are all going to spell King of Clubs one at a time from the face down pile onto the table. So follow with me, I'll just call it out. KINGOFCLUBS, drop the rest on top. Okay, I think everybody's there. I'm going to tell everybody something. Look at the top card. That's not your card. Okay, are we ready for, no, of course not. There's a reason for stopping and pausing there. We're going to spell again Rudy's card. You still know your card, though. Rudy's card's the king of clubs. I remember my card. Hope everybody knows their card. We're going to spell Rudy's card again. KINGOFCLUBS. Throw the rest on top. Check the top card. That's not your card either, is it?
No.
Nope. This is getting a little boring. I have to tell you something. It's the reason they weren't your card is because the third time is the charm. This is an English expression. If you're in a foreign country, that may not be an expression in your language. We say the third time is the charm. That means this is it. Rudy, we're going to spell king of clubs for the third time. KINGOFCLUBS, and throw the rest on top. We all started with a random number of cards.
That's true.
We don't even all have the same number of cards. We all are thinking of different cards. Rudy's card was the king of clubs. If the third time is the charm, Rudy's going to turn over his top card, and it will be the king of clubs, and mine will be the 10 of clubs. And
Wow.
everybody out there should be looking at your own card. Did it work for you, Rudy?
It worked, man. That's great.
Isn't that fun?
That's really smart. That's
So
fun.
it's a cool one because you can do it on the telephone, and of course there's a restriction, and that's why I had you guys eat up the cards. It's possible that someone had it fail, and I'll tell you what the restrictions are. You've got to have between 15 and 20 cards inclusive to accommodate every possible card that's named. The ones that can cause problems are ones that spell with the smallest possible number, like 6 of clubs. It was only 10. And also ones that spell with a very large number, like queen of diamonds. That's 15. So if you had 15 cards and the queen of diamonds started on the bottom, see, Rudy looked at the bottom card because he knew that this didn't mix anything up. Lay people, hopefully, once they do that OC false cut, they're not going to realize, they're not going to think their card's on the bottom anymore. So let's hope. But it doesn't even matter because it's still freaking mysterious.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a cool mathematical thing. I've got the name here. It's called the Bottom to Top Principle by Colm Mulcahy, Mathematical Card Magic. My pal Marty Kane came up with the idea of using his principle by spelling the name of a card. And they all spell between 10 and 15 letters. So for this to work, you have to have more than 15 and more than 15 or less than or equal to 20. If you have 21 and they say 6 of clubs, then you're going to get screwed. If you have 21 and they say queen of diamonds, you'll be fine. So to be sure it works every time, you have to have between 15 and 25 inclusive. If it's 15, then their card will be on top the first time, then it'll go to the bottom the second time, then it'll come back to the top the third count. I don't want that to happen. If they had 15, you would see that they arrived at the 15th card, and I would just not say, let's look at the top card in that case. But if you get them to even up the deck, the chances of having 15 are pretty small. Also, they have to say queen of diamonds and have 15. If they said 6 of clubs and had 15, it would be fine. So I hope I'm making some sense there that there's restrictions. But generally, when people, I've done this at Magic conventions with 10 people, and I just said, you know, if one of the piles looks too big, just kind of even them up. And just by sight, they all came out around 17, 18 cards, and everybody, and it worked for every single person. So it's just going to happen. It's an automatic thing. I just thought it would be fun to throw one at you that you might have fun with, and also to be able to do one that you had magic happen wherever you are in the world. So I threw that one in at the last minute. Let's see what I have on the PowerPoint here. Yeah, there's the restrictions, and there's why. And now we're time for a trivia question. So Rudy, you're going to get the feed from the people who are typing.
Yep.
Now, I don't know. Do we want to give the guys who can talk preference, or do they have to type as well? Do they have access to typing?
No, they can type as well.
Okay, so you have to type it. Don't call it out and give it away. If you're doing a Google search, you're going to be too late. Somebody's going to know the answer to this. All right, here we go. What was Ed Marlowe's real last name?
Oh crap!
Somebody's going to get it. Watch the feed.
Watch this. Let's see.
Call them out if they come in.
It looks like I got Warren and James are going up first. They're head to head. Marlowitz, is Warren said Marlowitz or Marlowski?
Nope.
Marlowoski?
Nope. Not close enough.
Miller?
What? The first question we're not
Markowski.
getting. I'm going to have to throw an easier question out there.
Really? What was it?
Or are we going to give up on Marlowe? Come on, man. Did somebody saying it?
Somebody said James got it right. It's Markowski?
That's close enough. Who said that?
That was James Siebert.
James, we're going to give it to James. It's actually Malkowski, but we're gonna.
Maybe, you know what? It's just no. He said it. I just read. I only have a GED education. I can't read. He said Malkowski. He got it and he spelled it right. James.
He did. Well, then he's the winner. So
Good job.
Now here's your choices, my friend. We got these decks of cards or the plastic lady. Let's show our stuff here. So
awesome.
Ask Alexander. Do you want to just email me later? No, because then somebody else might get the same one. So I don't want to belabor this. We're 44 minutes into the lecture. I got a lot more stuff to do. We're going to way run out of time here. So what do we got out there? Does he want to make a choice?
Jim, you want to tell him what you want really quick? He says he'll just email. We'll email you, but you'll have to think quick, Jim, so he can.
All right. He gets the first choice on the email, and I can tell somebody else they have to make another choice. Yeah, let's keep moving along here.
That's excellent.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Let's see. What are we doing? Okay, that was trivia. Okay, a lot of people asked about the PM principle, and I want to do a couple of real practical applications of a mathematical principle that I published in 1990 I call it the PM principle for some reason. MP, PM, ORAM, Marlowe backwards. I thought MP, Mike Powers, PM principle. So that was the idea. In Power Plays, I had kind of the ultimate version in which the spectators, which you can be blindfolded. The spectators do a cutting sequence. There's 2 selections. Not only do you deal the cards down and stop on each selection, you can name the selections without ever looking at anything. So I don't know if we want to do that one. I was going to do a more practical version here. Where are we at? Let me look at this. Let's come back to that here in a minute, what I wrote. Let's go ahead, and I think this view might be the best one. So I'm going to act as the spectator, and I won't look at the card. I'll just show you guys. So I'm going to turn to the spectator on my right and ask the spectator to cut, say, less than half the cards, just a good chunk of cards. So they cut here. I won't look. So can you guys see can you see it?
Gotcha.
Okay. Then with their other hand, they cut about half of what's left over here and drop these inside and cover them up. So that seems like a mighty fair procedure for selecting a card and burying it, and I'm not even looking. So there's a high sense of this is not going to be easy to find that card. So I turn the deck over and say, I'm going to locate your card in a very unusual way. Okay, yep, it's one of these cards right here. Yeah, it's one of these cards, but I have to tell you that it's become invisible. So I'm going to remove it. Yeah, there it is right there between the ace and the 6. I'll place the invisible card over here. But let's get some verification. I don't want to waste a lot of time asking you guys to validate things. So the spectator says they do not see their card here. I say, well, the invisible card. That's clear. But I've done this before, and I appreciate that you may be a little suspicious that maybe your card's still hiding in the deck. So let's look at some more cards. Here are another batch of cards. Is your card among these? They say no. Let's look at some more. How about these? Do you see your card among these cards? And they once again say no. Not here. No. Okay. How about among these cards? And they say no one more time. So you're sure? All right, let's go for the gold. Any one of these cards, they say no. That's because it's the invisible card, the 6 of diamonds. Is that right?
Gosh, thank God, is that?
Was it?
Yes, I hope so.
Well, you can't see the card. We'll have to put the card back inside the deck here, because once it's back in among the other cards, it should become visible. Oh, 6 of hearts. No, it was a 6 of diamonds. Oh, whoops! Wait a minute. I must have put it in the going the wrong way. There it is.
That's excellent. Good job.
So that's a use of the PM principle that is fairly impromptu. That I really like to do. There is a little bit of a setup. I always use 2 key cards that I can remember, like 2 mates. So I'll use the 2 black jacks. One of the jacks is going to be placed at 28 and one on top. So I start with them on top and just call them maybe in the previous routine so that I can get ready quickly for this routine. And I'll do a Pharaoh check. So now I'm going to look at the deck and make sure that I've got 26 in my left hand and 26 in my right hand, which I do. So that's 26 cards in my left hand. The 2 black jacks are here. So if I peel one of the black jacks onto the group of 26, there's now 27 cards there. Therefore, if I put all 27 of these on top of the other black jack, I'm where I need to be. Black jack or key card at number 1 and a key card at number 28. That's all that you need to know. If you can remember 2 obscure cards, you can just look at the card at position 28 in the top and you're ready to go. I'm afraid I'm going to forget them, and I always use 2 cards that I know I'll remember. So here's the deal at this point. The restriction is they cannot cut more than half the cards. So they have to cut less than half. I usually say, don't just cut a few cards, but cut less than half. So they cut to the king of clubs. Now they have to cut past that 28th card. So I usually say, go ahead and cut a good chunk of cards, meaning don't be bashful. Don't just take a few. And they've cut deep. Now look at the conditions. This is going in the middle of nowhere. There's no key card here, right? That's a random card. There's just nothing, it seems, that you could use to locate where that card is. And yet, if you remove the cards between the 2 key cards, that card will go to position 28, the one originally occupied by the jack near the center. So when I'm spreading the cards, I'm looking for my black jacks, and I'm going to up jog everything between them. So there's the jack of clubs. I now start blocking these off until I see the jack of spades, and I up jog everything between the 2 black jacks. As soon as I remove these cards, the selection, the king of clubs, will be at position 28. That's how the math works. So there seemingly should be no way to know anything about the card. So getting, yeah, so that's what the basis of the stripped down version of the principle is that you can know where the selection is. There's other things we'll look at here in a second where you don't even have to move the cards between them. That gives you that tells you where the card is. It tells you that it's at position 28, which I used in this trick. But if you don't remove the cards, the fact that you know which cards are in between can let you do some stuff too. We'll look at that in just a second. So now all we have to do is get that card reversed. I think probably everything's obvious from here, but I'll show you what happens. So here I'm spreading these and saying, I've removed this invisible card, so you don't see your card, do you? And then act kind of smug and satisfied, like, well, it's the invisible card. Oh, you might be suspicious that it's still in the deck. Oh, I see. Okay, well, we should check. I'm going to take 2 blocks of 10, one after another, but I don't want to count 10. I don't want to go 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. So I'm using an Elmsley strategy for counting cards as you spread. You would count in groups of 3, then 2, then 2, then 3. So 3, 2 is 5, 2, 3 is 5, that's 10. So I'm going like this, 3, 2, 2, 3. So I know that was 10 cards without seeming to count them. Now I spread these cards out, and again, they're not going to see their card because it's the 28th card, and now we've only spread 10 cards. But when I square up, I want to establish something. I'll show you the front view. I want to establish this moment, this posture, and go, so your card's not here. If you look at the angles, I can see the back of this card. Now that is a back of a card, so it doesn't do me any good. But in a minute, that's going to be the face of the selection. So I'm going, so your card's not here. Just as I glance down to put these here, I get a flash of that back. I don't really need to use it until a minute from now. So there's the first 10, 3, 2, 2, 3, flip them. it's not going to be here because it's going to be the 8th card from where we're at. So again, square these up and assume that posture of like, not here. I could look at the back of this card. Now it's the 8th card down. Be careful not to turn over 8 cards or they'll be looking right at their selection. Turn over 7 cards. So now it's 2, 4, 6, 7. That's the king of clubs right there, the 28th card. It'll always be 28 if you take out the cards between the 2 jacks. Turn these over, spread your 7 cards, spread 1 more. That's that king of clubs. When you square up, take the king of clubs with you, assume that same posture and say, not here, I'm looking at the king of clubs. And now everything is done. It's all presentation from here. And finally, again, is your selection here? No. And this kind of a bolt from the blue. It's really cool when you name the selection. That's a big moment because you just go, so it's the invisible card. And I pick it up as though it's still face down. And then I look and go, king of clubs. And that's like, pow, you know. How could you know that when you didn't even watch me select the card and I buried it in the middle of the deck? And then you have the final thing, which is, you know, this is standard invisible card stuff. The card goes back into the deck. And then as you spread through, you go, oh, there's the king of spades. It should, oh, I must have made a mistake. I put it in the wrong way. And, you know, you're acting a little bit, but I think they're going, whoa, what the hell? You know, it adds a little dimension to the ending to play it for real, like, oh, I put it in the wrong way, sorry. And as though that's why it's reversed.
Now, really quick, Rick, you know, Andy's asking, didn't you use a punch anywhere in this effect?
Not in this one. He's talking about the original PM principle. Now we're about halfway done. There was a lot of interest. Should we look at the PM Plus and maybe not belabor it totally? I've given you access to the write-up on PM Plus. Why don't I run through what it does so you see how powerful this is? I'm thinking of trying to get on Penn and Teller and use this to fool the crap out of them because I don't think that they could possibly see how it worked. And also the fact that I would put on a blindfold during the procedure would really make them want to go, oh, you know, you can see out the bottom of the blindfold and the cards have marks and somehow you've used the marks in the blindfold. And they'd be totally wrong. The cards are not marked and I'm not peeking. So I think it's a good trick if I could make it interesting enough presentation-wise to maybe get a spot on the show and maybe fool them. So that's my goal. But here's the, I've got this set up because it's a huge setup. This is not for the walk around environment. So the deck is totally set up. And the whoever asked about the punch is right. There are the key cards here have punches in the corners. I brought a couple examples for you to look at here. This is a quote professional card punch that I got from Jeff Busby. It has a set screw and a pin. So the amount of metal of the pin that pokes out between these two brass pieces is just the right amount. So you have to set this up correctly so that when you punch into the card, you would punch in from the bottom. So in other words, the pin point is pointing down from here. So I want it to come up from the face and hit the back and push up a little bump on the back of the card. So that's what these guys do. There's two different designs there. Let me make sure I'm okay here. Okay, so my two key cards are at 1 and 26 in this case, and I can feel the corner. So when I'm dealing, I can tell that that's one of the key cards. Just a quick story from a blast from the past. I don't know if anybody's heard of Jack Pyle, but he used to come to the Marlowe table, full-time professional, very much like Martin Nash, the charming cheat kind of personality. And Jack was a very shy guy in real life. I got to hang out one day. I went over to his house and we were hang out and drink some coffee. Very mild-mannered guy, but on stage, man, wow, he was like bigger than life. And his big trick was to have the spectators shuffle his deck. And he explained that in bridge, the high cards are the good cards, and that you deal 13 cards to each player. And the more high cards you and your partner, because bridge is a partnership game, you and your partner have, the better you're going to do. So he would take a legitimately shuffled deck where all the high cards had been punched, And I don't know what his total technique was. I think he could feel on the bottom of the deck whether there was a punch and on the top of the deck whether there was a punch. And he always hedged his bets and said, I might miss one. And I've seen him do it 3 or 4 times, and twice he missed one. Never saw him miss two. All he would do is seconds or bottoms or tops, depending on whether he or his partner wanted that card. So you know that sooner or later you're going to have to give away one of the high cards to your opponent. It's likely that you'll get jammed up, and just by bad luck, you won't be able to deal a card that you'll deal a high card to one of the other players. But it was unbelievable because his speed was like this: is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's doing bottoms or seconds. Let me get that camera. Sorry. He's doing bottoms or seconds. Crazy camera. I got to replace that. All the way around. So anyway, I'm sorry to digress here, but Jack was a wonderful performer and a really very wonderful person also. Is the table? I better come closer so you can see the table here. So here's the PM principle, and I'm just gonna, I'll tell you what happens and then I'll show you what I'm doing. So it really won't be a presentation. I want to cut this short and just kind of basically show you what it is. If I were doing this for Penn and Teller, I'd blindfold myself. I'd say, Teller, would you just reach over? First of all, I would have Allison look over the deck, and I'd have a joker in there. See, this looks like memorized order, doesn't it? Jack of spades, king of clubs, 9 of diamonds. So I would have a joker in the middle and have the deck cut, so it's not jumping out as Aronson stack. Then when I take the cards back, I could cut them back to memorized order. So Allison would look and make sure that there's no duplicate cards, because that could be an explanation, right? No dupes. So Teller, would you reach over, cut a chunk, but don't cut more than half. I want Penn to be able to play too. So don't just cut a few. So Teller's going to cut 15, 18 cards and look at the card. So that's the king of diamonds. We'll remember this here in a second. Then I have Penn. I'll say, go ahead, Penn, cut a chunk of cards, and he cuts deep, and he cuts to the 6 of hearts. So we have king of diamonds, 6 of hearts. Teller puts back, Penn puts back. It looks like there's just no way to find any of these cards. I'm not going to look at anything. I'm simply going to deal, and here's the work that I'm doing. I'm feeling for the punch. I'm going 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. I just felt the punch on 13.
Dang.
So I remember 13. And now I start a second count going forwards. So I got to 13. Now I was counting backwards. I stopped on 13. That's one of those key cards. That's the 26th card. So I stopped on 13. I've got to remember 13. So I reinforce it by going 13-1, 13-2, 13-3, 13-4. Now I'm looking for the second punch. 13-5, 13-6, 13-7, 13-8, 13-9, 13-10, 13-11, 13-12, 13-14. 13-14, I feel that punch. That's the jack of spades. 13-14 is what I have to remember. I'm now going to deal the first number of cards, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. My two key numbers were 13, which I just dealt, and 14. I'm going to be able to name these cards without ever having looked at them because the deck was in Aronson's stack. These also are going to be the 2 cards. So 13, I have to add 1, unfortunately, but this will be card number 14, which in Aronson is the king of diamonds. And 14 plus 26 is, whoops, what is it? Where am I at here? Did I just screw this up? 14 plus 26 should be 40. Did I do this right?
Huh.
What happened here? 6 of hearts was the right card, wasn't it?
Right.
Yeah. Why did I not have them in Aronson order? Hold on a second. 26 plus my second number, 36.
Warren's saying 39.
40. Yeah, this should be 30. This should have been, the 6 of hearts would be 39. That's why I'm wondering what I did wrong. Maybe it was still 13. You know what it was? When I dealt this over, I was on 13. It was really 13-13. I'm not going to redo it.
No, that's okay.
What it should have happened. Whatever that second number was, when I deal this card over here, It'll be that number plus 26, which would be 39, and this would be the 39th card. So I'd be able to be blindfolded for the whole thing, have that cutting sequence, have Teller stop and say, Teller, I want you to concentrate, King of Diamonds, and then have him turn this over, and it would be the King of Diamonds. Over here, I'd say a red card, a heart, 6 of hearts. He would turn it over, it would be the card. So it's really strong, but I think it needs some snappy presentation before a television audience is going to want to watch this procedure to get to this point. So that's really the challenge at this point. Yeah, so that's the original.
Warren said what happened was you're counting, you're going, 1311, 1312, 1314. I think you just skip 1313 because it naturally progresses to 1314. So
yeah, no, you're right. I get that. That's a good thing to remember for the future of not screwing up on Penn and Teller and making the same mistake.
No, but that's
you're right. You got to say 1313. Yes, you're right. Thank you. Now I feel better about and also what to worry about when I do this. Yeah. But it's 100% as long as you feel those punches. It does require that the first person take less than half, and the second person has to cut past the original 26th card. So it matters. If they screw around with you and don't do what you say, you can go south. But luckily, they just wouldn't put me on then. If it failed, then I would just it would be a bad day. But anyway, I think it would fool them, because it's just, when you look at the procedure, it just seems like there's no possible way to find them, let alone face down, let alone to stop dealing when you hit those cards and then name them without ever looking at anything. So that's the PM principle plus PM plus from Power Plays.
And again, for anybody who's watching this, if you go to Mall of Magic, Mike's made that available as a free download. You can get the document there and get all the details on that. Thanks. That's nice that you make that available for free.
Yeah, right at the beginning of the video, if they came in late, there's a link. In fact, you just go to mallofmagic.com and look at the lecture button. It says, look at the lecture at Magicians Forum. It'll take you right to a page that has free stuff on it. And also it has a link to downloading a PDF of Power Plays also. If you haven't got Power Plays, you might enjoy that book. Well, let's look here and see where we're at. The invisible card, there's the recap. The key card is on top, key at 28 from the top. I used a Pharaoh check to get there. When the cards between the keys are removed, the selection goes to the position 28. Continuing using the Elmsley strategy and so on. Uh-oh, trivia question number 2.
Hey.
Here we go.
Everybody get on their keyboards.
All right, here we are. Prizes. All right. Di Vernon's real last name. Should have suspected that was coming.
All right, let's see who's got that. Evan's up first up. Hold on, what has he got? Warren's actually for Werner.
Werner's correct.
That was Warren. He was quick on the dial.
Nice. He knew it was coming, didn't he? David Frederick Wingfield, Werner with an E. I wasn't going to, if somebody said Vernor, I was going to give it to him anyway. Close enough. So,
you gotta be quick on the thing. So, Warren, which one do you want? I believe that Jim said that he wanted, which one was it? I'm looking up here. Does he had posted on there? Which one, Warren? Why don't you go ahead and say which one you wanted, so we won't spend too much time, or I can get them for you and then.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's keep it moving here. So we'll move this stuff aside. Good work. The trivia questions down. Let's move on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Warren wants the plastic lady, and it was Carnival for Jim. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that.
6, 7. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, all right. One more use of the PM principle, and you'll see a very similar situation here. This is something I did in the Penguin lecture, but it was so well received. I thought 60% of the guys haven't seen the Penguin lecture, so I'm going to show it here. Uses the similar principle to what we just did. It is the infamous 21 card trick, my friends. Yes, the 21 card trick. So I would first hand these cards to somebody. I'd say they look fairly well mixed, right? There's not a bunch of duplicate cards here. Would you count a pile of 7 on my left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Another pile of 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And a last pile of 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So 3 piles of 7. This ends you up in the same place. It's related. It looks very different, but it's the same basic math behind the principle at work here. So I can look away. I would recommend doing this. If I were doing this in the real world, I would turn aside so I wasn't looking right at them and say, I'm going to show you what I want you to do. So I have my little piles here. I want you to pick up a pile and shuffle it. Then I'm going to have them look at the top card, take some cards from one of the other piles and drop them on top, then take the unused pile and sandwich those into the middle, and then put these all back on top. So might do that in real time with them so that they can't screw this up. The guy in Penguin had trouble with this for some reason. So shuffle up your pile, look at the card. I'll just show the camera here. Actually, I saw it, but it doesn't matter. So take some cards from any one of the piles and drop them on top. So now we don't really know how far your card is from the top, but we do know it's 7th from the bottom. So let's bury it in the middle of this pile. So the spectators do all this work. Now we have no idea where that card is. We have no idea from the bottom or the top. Just throw these back on top as well. All right, seems pretty darn good. Seems like that card is gone. So now we'll lay out the standard 21 card trick. So let's come back. Where are we at here? Uh-oh, I'm running out of room that you can see this. Sorry, getting crunched up here because I see the bottoms not showing it very well. Let me come back to this view. Is that working or not? Can you guys see it?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so we've got, oh, wait a minute. I think I messed this up. Is your card in this row? They say no. This row, no. Then you act as though you accidentally turned this over. This is a horrible presentation, but you'll get the idea.
Yeah.
This is the 3 of clubs. So you apparently deal one card face down accidentally, and it ends up being the selection. So that was a horrible presentation of it. Let's do the workings, and it should become a little bit more clear. You need a key card on top of each pile. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's going to be the key card on top of one of the piles. I use picture cards so I can't forget. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Another key card. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Key card. Every 7th card. Whoops, I just messed that up. Let's make sure we're right here. So there should be 2, 4, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. Wait a minute here. Hold on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Key card, every 7th card. When they deal the piles out, there's a key card on top of each pile. And 7. The procedure is very deceptive. They pick up any pile, shuffle it, look at a card, 6 of hearts. They cover it up with any number of cards from this pile and throw it in the middle of this pile, and then throw these. They can shuffle these and throw these on top. Because there was 7 cards in that left hand, in the pile that they cut from, this will always work based on 7. So here's the procedure. You start dealing face up, counting backwards from 7, like we did before, counting backwards from 25. So it's going to be 7, 6, 5. Let's get in closer here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. As soon as you see a picture card, whatever number you just said is your key number. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Don't count. Just remember 3. As soon as you see the next card, don't count it. Just count off your 3. 1, 2, 6 of hearts.
Wow.
So you can deal it face down, which is one way. It gets there very fast, and it's just kind of funny. Do you see your card in this row? No. You just ignore this. Do you see your card here? No. Oh, wait a minute. What's that? What's your card? Oh, well, we're done.
Yeah.
So it has that feeling of like we're going to go through this long process, and then just immediately there it is. And you have the selection procedure is pretty deceptive. So
is that original to you? Is that based on something, or that's
no? That's original, and I'll tell you where. Let me get my packet here. Yeah, Dave Solomon and I had a session, and Dave said I showed him a 21 card trick, called the 7-card, 21-card trick that's in Power Plays. And he said, can you do that with 3 packets? And I thought, wait a minute, I've got this other trick that uses 3 packets, and this is even simpler than that. And I just said, yeah, how about this? And I'll show you the other trick right now. This is a really cool trick. Okay, let me show you, because it has the same procedure and a lot of possibilities. So I'm just going to throw this one out as come up with some ideas on this. Let's come in close here. So you can have the spectator shuffle the packets, the deck together. So the spectator gives the deck a shuffle. The spectator cuts the deck into 3 approximately equal piles. They really don't matter. And you hand these to one person and these to a second person for shuffling. So the first person shuffles this pack, or you can do the shuffling. Second person shuffles this pack, and then you even show them and say, now make sure that the cards are well mixed, and you have them verify that the cards are well mixed, and so on. Okay, so that's done while this third spectator in the middle is shuffling this middle packet. So these packets have been returned, and you tell this guy, go ahead and just spread through your cards. So you show them what to do, like this, and say spread through and then push out any card. Okay, so he does that. Take a look at the card and leave it on top. Now take any number of cards from here, drop them on top, bury this in the center of this pile, shuffle these up and throw them on top. Okay. Now we're going to get the Whispering Queens. So I'm going to go through the deck. I want you to make sure that I don't cheat here. Yeah, and find the red queens. They're my key cards here. Let's see. There's one, and there's one. Okay, so the 2 red queens are now going to be used as the Whispering Queens. I hand them to this guy who shuffled the cards and said, listen to him. Are they talking? He says no. So we'll just keep listening. I'm going to have this gentleman deal cards into a face-down pile, and I want you to listen to the queens. If they say something, let us know. So this guy goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and this guy says stop when he hits 18. And was that the right card? Did we look at the card?
I muted myself. I believe that was the right one.
Did I show the card originally or not?
I'm not sure. I'm looking over here to see if anybody caught that.
I may have not shown the card and just said he looks at the card, but this should have been the selection. So it's a similar procedure in that there's 3 piles and the card gets buried into the center of a pile. Very, very, very fair conditions. So that's the one that I based the Invisible 21 on, and I'll show you what's going on here. There's a lot of possibilities. I like using this as a stooge trick. You have one of your key cards, which will be the red queens, near the top, one near the bottom. So you can spread and they don't jump out at you as, you know, the top and the bottom. The person can shuffle the deck, and you know that given 3 piles, there'll be a red queen in this pile and a red queen in this pile. One was near the top, one was near the bottom. This one's going to be near the bottom. This one's going to be near the top. So I usually edge mark them, or if I want to do it myself. But if I hand these cards to my stooge and say, I prearranged this with my stooge. When I hand you the cards, shuffle them. When I say, look at the cards to be sure that they're well mixed, I want you to count the cards. So he goes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. He knows there's 16 cards here. When he hands me the cards, I go, so they're well mixed, and I cut that queen back to the top. If it's edge marked, I can do that face down. This guy is not a stooge. So all I need to do over here is move that red queen. I can just call it over. So now there's a red queen here, and my stooge knows there's 16 cards here. When I did it without a stooge, I just counted the cards in the process of showing this guy what to do. So I went, I want you to spread the cards, and I'm going 3, 2, 2, 3, there's 10. Out jog a card, now I'm going 2, 4, 6. Now I know there's 16 cards here in the process of explaining that I want him to go through and out jog a card and look at it. So I know that there are 16 cards here. And that's going to be I'm getting some
getting
feedback. I'm hearing somebody's voice or my voice. Oh, there it is. Okay, I'm good. So he remembers 16, and I've told him when this guy counts to the 16th card to tell him to stop. Or since I know it's 16, I can do that myself if I don't have a stooge. The stooge is an absolute killer thing. I did this at Magic Live, not this most recent one, but previously in one of the sessions. And I said, does anybody have any idea how this worked? Because this guy over here tells this guy to stop dealing. And they go, no, what? That guy told him to stop dealing? How could he know anything? How could anybody know anything with that selection procedure? So this is what they saw. They saw these guys shuffled the packets. This guy had, I'll just leave it face up this time. This guy had looked at his card. I said, go ahead, it has to be this one. These are the 16. So he takes some of those cards on top, buries these in the middle of this one, shuffles these up and throws them on top. I mean, that's just looks like they would have to be completely gone. But when I do that little displacement and move the cards from between the queens to the bottom, that will put the selection at 16, whatever that number of cards was. So I spread and I say, now don't let me do anything. It doesn't look like I do anything. I wouldn't know that was a selection. I just spread right past it. There's my first queen. Set these down. Remove the queen. Spread to the next queen. Take these to here. Now you can see what's happening. These were the cards between the queens. They're now being put to the bottom of the deck.
Wow.
And these are going back on top. I effectively took the cards from between the queens and moved them to here. The 16th card is going to be that reversed card, the selection. So my stooge can now be given the queens, and they have fun acting and go, are you listening? Yeah, I'm not hearing anything yet. Well, you know, keep listening. This guy goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. On 16, that guy goes, stop. And I go, what was that? He goes, I heard the queens say stop. What? They said stop? What card did you stop at? And this guy turns his selection over. So
that's smart.
So that's all PM principle stuff.
That's brilliant.
And there's, you know, it's not for a walk around environment, but this is really fun to do at a magic meeting or something, because you get somebody to help you out, and they just, how could they know where to say stop, you know? And all it was, they don't even know how it works. They just know that you said count the cards and say stop when it reaches that number. So it's a lot of fun.
It's really good, man. Thanks for sharing that one.
Okay, so we've really beat the heck out of the PM principle.
I'm glad you did. I was very curious about watching that in action. So thanks.
Okay.
Did
we do enough? Is there are there any questions that people have about that? We did a long sequence involving that mathematical thing.
I don't see any questions on here. Everybody seems to be just enjoying themselves. So it's great.
Okay.
Can you believe it, man? We only have 40 minutes left.
Well,
time flies.
Not a material. Okay, let's see where are we at here. Invisible 21. I'm going to leave these on here for a second because these will be on the recording. So this is the setup for Invisible 21. The selection procedure we talked about. 3 piles, keys on top of piles. Shuffle 1 pile, look at the top card. Add some cards from the other pile. Bury those cards in the middle. Place remaining on top. I mean, that's easy to remember.
Yep.
The full deck application, 2 keys, spectator shuffles, there's your 3 piles. You need a key on top of A and a key on top of C. If you can remember the top card of A and the top card of C, all you have to do is remove the cards between those 2 key cards and call them the whispering cards and just hand them out. So that way you can get into this without calling queens. And I've just always used queens because I know I'm going to space out and forget a card. And you don't want to screw these up because there's a lot of procedure. And if you get to the end and don't have an ending, then you better have an invisible deck in your pocket, right?
Right.
So the keys on top of A, and spectator shuffles B. The selection is on top of B. Spec adds a block from A with your key card, but the number of cards in A is the thing to remember. You can count it yourself or have a stooge. Remainder of A is added on top, and we're there. Okay. Packet A locates the selection. Ha-ha.
There you go. Okay,
Nico. This one might be tough. This one might be a tough one. So, who said there is a world of difference between a spectator's not knowing how something's done versus his knowing that it can't be done?
Oh man, I think I know this. Is that Erdnase? Oh, I should put that on.
No.
Uh-oh.
Good
Hey,
guess.
Nico, I'm watching you. I'm
Good
watching over here. Somebody, Warren's typing. Nico, I'm watching you too, my friend. Di Vernon?
Nope.
No, Aronson said screen card guy.
Aronson is correct.
Oh my goodness! All right, that's Chi Han. Got that one. So.
All right, nice. We've already lost the plastic lady, I think, to somebody.
Yeah. So just so you know, I got the names of the fellows who wanted that. So the first guy, it was Carnival for Jim.
Oh, you wanted the carnival deck? Okay.
Yeah, it was, and then the Warren wanted the plastic lady.
We've got the plastic lady over here.
I'll get the names for that, and then he wants the 505s is what Shihan is looking at.
Does he want them?
There you go. Is that what you want, Shihan? Yeah, he's saying yeah.
505s. All right, guys. Excellent.
That's awesome.
Good work with Aronson. I thought that would be a stumper. So excellent work there.
Now my ignorance is on display for all to see. I said, Erdnase, like, hey, you idiot, you're not reading the Bible of card magic. All right, great.
All right. Well, we had a lot of questions. I had several people ask about expert cards to pocket. And so, you know, we're down to the last 20 minutes or last 40 minutes. This is a long one. It is suitable for walk around. It's suitable for platform as well. You need a coat or some big pants because you're going to your pockets a lot. It involves palming, and I was going to spend some time on 2 palming techniques. Do we think this is a good thing to do, or should we dig deeper and go with some other just kind of shorter tricks? This is going to be a 20 minutes or 15 minutes on this, you know, to go through the palming techniques and so on as well. So is that going to be good? I had some requests for it. That's why I've got it on the list, and it's come up on my PowerPoint.
Oh, I think it's awesome.
Should we do it, the expert cards to pocket?
I like it. It's great.
Okay, let's do it. I'm going to put a jacket on. Let me get over here for a second.
Man, when you look at that library, everybody's looking at that just coveting all those books you got.
Yeah, there are a lot of books back there, that's for sure. This is the Marlowe section, starts back here and goes all the way up. Marlowe people up to, this is Dave Solomon right here. So this is Solomon, Aronson, Randy Wakeman, Don England, Kevin Kelly, John Bannon, Alan Ackerman, a bunch of stuff in here. Racker Baumer, of course, like crazy. And then we get down to Mint and the 6 Marlowe magazines and a bunch of stuff. So I put that at close range, my stuff that I love.
What's your favorite out of all of those? I mean, we all probably have our favorites. Is there one that stands out there that, man, if the house was burning down and you had to take one of those, only one, which one would it be?
Gosh darn it, man! I don't know. There's so many good ones in here. It's hard to pick one. You know, I'll tell you one that's a sleeper. Is this one right here? Ackerman's "Here's My Card." I got this from Alan in 1980. There it is right there. To Mike, Vegas, 1980. My very first magic convention, and I happened to walk by. I didn't know any of these guys. I think I had met John Cornelius at a lecture. John Cornelius, Roger Klaus, Presley Guitar, and Alan Ackerman. And I didn't know what Ackerman looked like. I knew who he was, and I didn't know Klaus. So Roger goes, "Hey, want you to sit down and join us?" And I was just walking around the magic convention at the Aladdin in 1980, the Desert Magic Seminar. And I knew Ackerman from some of the stuff that was in the Paul Harris books, and I went, wow, Alan Ackerman. So I got this book. It was like $4 or something. There's some absolute gold in here, and I don't think it's in print anymore. I don't think you can get it. So
dang, I'll have to keep my eyes out for that.
Yeah, I really recommend it. There's some really cool stuff in there. I don't think it all got recycled in his subsequent books, but that was quite a day because I hung around with those guys all day. We went walking around, and Alan showed me all kinds of stuff. He showed me the Spectator cuts the aces that usually Bannon, Malone, or Wakeman get credit for, but it's really Ackerman came up with that idea in 1970, where you have the Spectator cut, but each time they cut, you've contrived to get an ace on top of the deck. So,
similar to the David Regal effect that I was talking about.
It is. It's very much like that. In fact, that Regal is just uses a different procedure to get a card on top. His is much different than Ackerman's. The Ackerman did the slip cut, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom, slip cut 1, offer for the cut. So there is one when they cut, then put the slip cut back on top. Now there's another ace on top. They cut again. Then he would double cut the bottom card to the top. He would just get a break over the bottom card, like swing cut, and he would use it like as a, let's see if those piles are the right size. He would drop that ace off because he had broken it away as the bottom card, drop it off, and then take the pack and go, it's pretty close, maybe a little bit more. And that now he got an ace on the top again. Then he'd shuffle the last ace to the top, and they would cut. And then when they turned over the cards, they were all aces. And it is a killer trick in whatever method, you know, I mean, but all these other guys basically are doing something similar. To me, if you get an ace on top of the deck each time, especially by slip cutting and things like that, then it's Ackerman. Regal, he's doing the same, get an ace on top, but he had a cooler, a very interesting way to do it. I dug that out. That was very cool. Well, let's look at the cards to pocket.
Thanks,
I think I can do this sitting down. It's a fun routine. Again, I wish I were able to do this for some real people because it's fun and it's hard to, really convey the fun on the camera when in an empty room. But you can use your imagination. Your personality will determine, the spectator's experience in using this. Hold on, I see the camera.
You got it. Okay.
Blasted camera.
Good.
All right.
You got a lot. Everybody's helping you out here. You got Nico's waving. Say, hey. Thanks, Nico.
All right. So I'm going to have John and Jim each take a card. So John and Jim take selections. To speed this up, I don't really see any value of having them signed. It'll just slow it down. So here's one of the selections, and the cards go back into the deck. Jim's, meanwhile, is signing his card. I usually get two spectators to come up. I give each of them a pen, and they hand the cards back in. I show the second selection to the second spectator back inside the deck. And I want them to note that the top card is not one of the selections, the six of hearts, and the bottom card. The bottom card is also not one of the selections, six of diamonds. So watch this. Card go, gone. The black card, I'm talking to Joe over here. Black card, a club, perhaps the 8 of clubs with your signature on it. So you get a little applause there because it's like, wow, how did the card get to the pocket? All right, well, let's try this again. You've heard of deja vu. Watch this. Hey, twice. Nice. 2 times in a row. All right. So we'll do it the third time. You know what I'm doing now, don't you? Okay. And this time, up the magic sleeve, over to the inside jacket pocket, and that's 3 times. All right, Joe, that is enough with your card. Let's turn to Jim's card here. Place this back in the deck. So Jim, I want you to concentrate on your card. I want you to say, anytime, card go. It says card go, gone. Does this look familiar?
Sure does.
And then there's quizzical expressions, and oh, that's Joe's card. Hold on, we'll try this again. There we go. The entire deck has disappeared, except unfortunately, we still have Joe's card here. I'm working hard. I'm going to try this one more time. Maybe I'm not because, whoops, my guide has collapsed in the meantime. Hold on. It was all set up before. Oh, yeah, there we go. Inside my wallet, whoops, we have one card, still Jim's card.
What's on the table?
Oh, wait a minute. The deck's gone. I'm just kind of playing it out here without trying to act. And then this turns out to be, finally, you got the other guy's cards. So those are the 2.
That's great.
So, I wish, if I were doing a real lecture, you can get people up and really do your shtick and try to have fun with them and so on. So in this case, I guess it's more like, you know what it is. And now let's talk about the fine points of how to accomplish it. So I like it a lot because it's fun. And when you do it in a platform environment, or even just a group of people, like maybe a big table of people, they have fun because they keep seeing this card. It's still mysterious, like, how does this get to your pocket? But it's always this guy's card, and you're having trouble getting this other guy's card. So it has that magician in trouble feel. And yet, it's not the wrong card, it's just constantly his card, and you're frustrated. So again, one card to the top, the second card second from top. So I just went with tilt. I don't know what I did here. I think I just went with tilt and just said, we'll place your card halfway down, standard tilt kind of stuff. By the way, on tilt, I've seen people use these gigantic tilt breaks, like, you know, like this, whoops, like you know, like a ½ an inch high. If you do that and you look from the front, or let's do this one, it just looks like it's way deep in the deck.
Yeah.
You only need about two millimeters or something, about, you know, a 2 dime thickness, a real ½ a centimeter or less. So from the rear, you know, a fairly small break, and then of course the Darrell thing, and from the front that will look really good. It'll look like it's about halfway down. So anyway, just a fine point there. All right, so one card to the top, one card to second from top. And now you have previously placed a card in your pocket. So I had used a joker, so because I knew I'd get my decks mixed up. So I had a joker in my pocket at the outset. Standard kind of procedure. So I want to show that the card's not on top, because it's going to open the door for me getting a peek at the card. I want to name this guy's card. So I don't know what their cards are yet. I spread over and say, so you guys put your cards down in the deck. I've got a break under 3. Any way to get a triple turnover. I've been finding this kind of a nice way to do it. I have a break under the 3, and from the back view, I'm just pushing my finger forward, but my thumb hits the triple card and pushes the whole triple forward. So from the front, it just, or from maybe closer, it just looks like, you know, you pushed with your finger. So that couldn't be a triple card. So nobody's card is the 6 of hearts. Turn the triple over. Now I'm doing a one-handed get ready. I think I've had this on the promo. So from the back, I'm just squeezing my thumb down on the outer left corner, and my finger, flesh of my finger, comes up over the top of the card a little bit. So it's not here, it's coming up over the top. And then if you press diagonally across this way, that corner pops up. I mean, that's,
I love that.
that's a ½ an inch there. So you don't want that much. In this case, it's going to give me a peek. I'm going to go like this, and just when I'm going to, and my hand shields that so that they don't see that motion of that corner moving. I just come over and I turn the deck over, and that's my view from the back side. They can see, I can see that the 8 of clubs is the top card. So I'm saying your card's not on the bottom. They can't see that what I'm seeing here. So I now know that the selection's the 8 of clubs. So now I can show my hand empty, and when I'm going to my pocket, I'm getting a break again just by popping that corner up. So I've got the break for a nice double lift here. So as I'm going here, I'm just using that finger to pop that corner up, go to my pocket and come out and say, it's a black card, and I look right at the guy, it's a black card. Then I put it down halfway over, and it's a club. So this justifies, I'm pointing, so I want my hand to be free. It's a club. Now I come over, square those up, push forward. It's the 8 of clubs with your name on it.
Right.
So it's a big moment. I mean, your hand was completely empty. The signed card, of course, you really have to have it signed. Now flip the double over and insert that card in the center. Well, this is begging for Marlowe's misdirection palm, which is one of the things I wanted to touch on in this lecture. So I'm going to get the back view so you can see what's going on. In the original write-up of the misdirection palm, Marlowe came forward with his hand, and in fact, we were at Randy Wakeman's wedding, and he was doing this. His hand's like here, and it comes forward, and it's just like this, covering the entire deck. And I thought, man, Ed, what about doing this? Just kick that over a little bit. And he agreed that that was cool. I don't know if it's ever been published. I've never said anything about it, but if I have a touch on the misdirection palm, it's that the way it's written up, I don't think it just looks too cozy and closed. So what's going to happen is you're going to palm that 8 of clubs that's on top. Remember, I had a double card, so that's an X card. That's that joker. So how do you get there? Well, when you kick this over, you have a much more open look to getting the palm done. First of all, look at the finger positions. The outer left corner is touching my thumb. That's going to be a pivot point. You're going to use your little finger, and what you need to know, and this is worth pausing for a second, you need to know what it feels like to comfortably palm the card in your right hand. You need to have previously, if you're just learning to palm, put a card in your hand and move it around until you go, that feels very comfortable right there. I can kind of have a relaxed look to my hand, and yet there's a card in there. The points at which you're really controlling it are your little finger and the base of your thumb over here. It's really floating. It's really controlled between those points. To some extent, there's contact with your fingers if you're closing your hand. But when your hand is open, this little finger curls in just enough to keep it from falling out of your hand. It's a very comfortable feel. So once you know that spot on your little finger, you're now set to do Marlowe's misdirection palm. You want this card to pop up into your right hand exactly in the right position. It's going to pivot on that corner, and I'll show you what it looks like because my hand is going to cover it in a second. My little finger is going to contact here, push forward and down. See how that card is popping up?
Yeah.
It's going to go right into my palm. It's pivoting here. So it's a little harder to see now. Maybe I'll really open up this hand. Normally the hand would be almost flat, but the little finger contacts that corner, pushes outward, and whoops, I'm getting a whole block of cards. You need to have a break. Kicks that card up, here it comes, up into my hand. Now the hand completely covers it. The premise is I'm going to straighten out that card, and then I'm going to kick that card into the deck with this finger. And you look at what that looks like. It just, let me get the front view for this again. It really looks great. So here's the 8 of clubs. You're in this position. Now sorry to keep jumping around with all these jump cuts. So you're in this position. You kick this over, and now I've got the break back here. As I come forward, my hand covers that card, and I just angle this card over and use that finger to push it in. And it really makes this hand look empty when I've really got that card. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so I've got the card, and I go back to my pocket, and that's the second time I've got the guy on my right's card. Now we're going to go to a bottom palm. We're going to put this into the center, bring these cards all forward, and take that card as the bottom card of the packet. So I put it in the center, move all the cards forward, and take the block and say one more time, so that, in other words, there might be some suspicion. I wonder if that really is my card. So that's my premise is, no, I'm going to show you. There's your card. Now I'm going to get set up for that Ackerman style deal. Well, it's my version of it, right? Now we're getting the Kelly bottom placement kind of thing. So the card goes to the bottom. And now we're going to use the Erdnase bottom palm, which is a wonderful and deceptive move. If I stand up, I'll get a better angle, because when the cards are facing right into the camera, you're seeing under my hand. It's a view that people don't have when you're standing. When I'm standing, the deck is angled at almost 45 degrees to the table, and it's much more conducive to palming in case there's something that they might see underneath. So I'm going to get in. I'm standing up now like I would be if I were doing this routine. I would never do this seated. So the Erdnase bottom palm basically looks like this. And you get the bottom card. That's what it looks like. The fingers move a little bit. The little finger of the right hand definitely moves. I turn to my right when I'm doing it for 2 reasons. One is that's your bad angle. So turning to the right kills the bad angle. And the other thing is it minimizes, if I'm moving my little finger while the deck is moving, it's much less perceived that something's going on. But here are the details of that. You now have to find the same position in your left hand. Where does that card feel comfortable in your left hand? The very important place is the base of your thumb. Where is that particular point? Because that's going to be the starting point of setting up for this bottom palm. So put a card into your hand, get comfortable, and then take note of that place on your left hand right there. Because when you do this, let's see, this is going to be on the bottom. So when you do the move, you're going to place the deck into a kind of unnatural position. You're going to put that corner exactly where it needs to be to palm the card. I would never hold the deck like this far out in my hand. That's not my real dealing grip. Dealing grip would be much further back. This is way down here in my hand. So I know that I'm going to do this move, so I don't put it into normal dealing grip. I move it outward and put that corner right in my spot. I'm so comfortable with that. I know that that's the spot. I know that if I pivot on that point, the card will go right into position. So now here are the details of what to do now. I keep the pressure, I keep that corner at that space. My left first finger pulls down on the outer right corner of that card and it buckles in. So the card's buckling at this point away. You don't want it to flash at the outer edge, so you have to move the deck forward a little bit. So I'm getting bound up by pausing. It's usually be one fluid action. So I've broken that inner corner away, and I'm moving the deck forward a little bit. Now here's the view from the bottom. My little finger touches that corner. I could completely move my left hand and do the move right now. The card is completely controlled by my left little finger at that outer corner and the base of my thumb. It's going to pivot on the base of my thumb. I'll just open it up down into there. But if my hand is closed when that's happening, it goes right into palm position. And you've got it. So what it looks like, I'll stand up again. I've got the corner is there. I buckled the cards. I moved forward a little bit. Now I'm going to turn to my left and do the move. Now I can put the deck down and I've got the card.
Wow.
So at that point, I bottom palmed. I mean, I know I've seen people who do Ernest Eriks and Larry Jennings one-handed palms, and those are great. I'm just too old to start, you know, I hate to say I'm too old to do anything, but when you look at the time frame to learn something, I go, boy, it's better than what I'm doing, but I'm just sticking with this one, and I'd rather learn another trick and you know, than put in the hours. But you young guys, get that one-handed thing going, man. You'll have it. So my left hand then goes, blast it, camera.
That's okay.
I'm getting a new camera for the future, Rudy.
You're good. It's not that's
timing out. I wanted to get one for this, but I didn't get it done.
That's okay.
So anyway, I've got the card in my left hand, and this time I'm going to reach into my jacket. I usually am holding the deck, right? I palm the card. I have the deck in my right hand. I think in the demonstration I've tabled the deck. Usually I hold the deck and go like this, like I'm throwing it into my sleeve. Then I reach in, and because the card is palmed with the face against the palm, I don't want him to see the face. I turn the card around so that it comes out with the back towards the spectator.
Right.
So they don't see the face. I have to turn the card around. So now I don't look at the card and I go, so how did, no, actually this guy's card. Now the third time is supposed to be legit, like I did want to get your card. So John, third time. Okay, now it's Joe's turn. So now here's where it's going to go south, and things are going to happen. So I get a break under, and by the way, that move we talked about, this move where you get there, you can get a tilt break too by just fussing around with one hand. So you get this, and then that corner pops up. So one-handed tilt break. Now I put John's card into the tilt break. So his card has gone, John's card has gone to my pocket 3 times, twice here, once here, and now he sees it go into the middle of the deck. So now I turn to Joe and say, "Okay, Joe, now it's your turn."
Mm-hmm.
I get a break. I just do this instinctively. I get a break under that top card. I'm using my one-handed technique there. And now this is basically, I think it's a Don England idea, maybe popularized by Dave Williamson. Phase 51 was in Don England's book from way back in the 70s, I think. And it was the trick where you had held one card as the deck and ditched 51 cards in your pocket. Everybody does it now. I believe that's Don England's idea of copying 51 cards and holding one card as the deck, popularized by other people, but I'm going to give Don England credit. So you bring the deck in, because you're going to literally, gamblers cop it. So I'm bringing the deck in out closer to my hand than normal dealing grip, and then moving this one card out. So the back view is, this is what I'm seeing. I've got one card and 51 cards broken away. So from the front, it just looks like I've got the deck here. I'm going to turn sideways. Let's see, be more like this. Now I'm turning to my left because I don't want to go like this and have them see a flash, see the deck leaving.
Mm-hmm.
So I turn to the left, bring my hands in, and just when I get out of range, go to my pocket, turn back around, and come out with that top card of the deck. So my thumb is in position to just grab the top card off the deck. They believe you stay turned to your left because obviously that doesn't look like a deck, but this does. So turn to your left. This is the guy on your left, which makes this work better. And hold this card up and say, and so does this look familiar? Now the whole audience has seen this card 3 times. They know that it's Joe's card on your right. And they laugh because you evidently don't know. And it's like, does this look familiar? And he goes, yeah, but, and you go, what? Oh my God, I got your card again. So it's like, okay, no, I know what to do. So I like to do this. I'm still turned to the left. I bring this over. I don't do this because that looks like, right, I lost my deck. I keep it about a half a centimeter down and try to give this impression that the card's going back into the deck. Really, I only have 2 cards, right? So now you do the old collapse the cards and go, so now I've caused the deck to disappear. Now I take the cards at the outer left corner and the inner left corner and show and say, how about now? And then he makes some kind of a, like, what? Same, and then I look, same problem. On the way back to the table, I want to cop the bottom card and table the top card. So I want to cop the 8. That's Joe's selection for the 5th time. But on the way down, I just push this card. I'm pivoting on my little finger. I know that spot right into my palm. So when I get down, I just take this card away. I like to take it with this hand and toss it and then bend my hand in so that they get this more. Now, I don't want, you know, this cozy look. This is a nicer look for a palmed card where your finger's kind of pointing out, because it makes it harder to believe that there's a card there. So again, it looks like this. That's the face card. Joe says, nope, that's still Jim's card. Okay, whatever. So now I go in and I had my wallet collapsed. I've got a guide in this wallet, and it was like this when I picked up my coat. It just collapsed in the wallet. So that's why I kind of screwed that up. I like to use the Katz Balducci wallet with an envelope. And the envelope says, in case of emergency, you know, so everybody thinks you're finally going to get Jim's card. I keep forgetting their names. This last card, they believe that's the 8 of clubs on the table. And finally, you open the envelope and you take out the card and go like this. And everybody, it's becoming pretty funny because the 3rd screw up. It's still your card. And I go, I don't even have any more cards. The deck, oh, wait. And now everybody's like, oh, wait a minute. And then that's that guy's card. And I just always give them the signed cards and eat the deck. You know, just give them the signed. This is a platform show. You know, I'm getting paid really well. Right. What's the big deal of giving away, you know, 2 cards that make the deck a 50-card deck? I just throw the deck away or give the deck away later.
That's great.
So I have a lot of fun with it. It's a very practical trick, but you know, you have to learn those palming techniques. They both work so well in this routine. Because that misdirection one works when you have a card outjogged in the deck. You want to palm the top card, but you have that outjogged card. You can make that reasonable. You can use that. That's my main way of palming, or a one-handed top palm. And I'll just make it reasonable to ditch a card. Like your card's not on top, put that in there, cop the card, or on the bottom. You know, so if I need to make up a reason to have a card sticking out of the deck, I'll just find one, and because I love to use that palm. It's so deceptive, and so you just don't get caught with it. I always had palmophobia for years of I just don't want to get caught with a card in my hand and have somebody go, what's that? And, oh my God, that's the ultimate burn, you know? It's like invisible thread when somebody goes, what's that? What is that?
Shimmery.
Oh man, the worst.
I think that's a great routine, Mike. Love it. I don't know if you want to take a question here, but one of the gentlemen here, Ian, was asking about that. You had showed me that center double.
You know, I'm glad you brought it up because Darwin Ortiz asked me about that one, and I said I'd put it on the video. I said if it doesn't make it, I'll send you a video. I wanted to mention, not to be too mercenary here, but I've got a DVD and a set of notes that are left over from my Canadian lecture. This is not the material from today. This is a couple of things. Invisible 21 is in here. Heisting Histed Heisted was in the Penguin lecture. That's worth the price of admission, I think, for a stand-up show. It's a killer mentalism thing. Palming Without Fear, I go into these palming techniques on this DVD. I've got the double lift from center that I'm going to show you now. Both of those palming techniques, the one-handed get ready. There's a rubber band and a ring routine, which when I do a lecture, it's just so hard to teach a rubber band routine. You know, this goes over there behind your little finger. So I put that on here. So there's a bunch of stuff. Mainly the stuff here is not in the lecture. There's a cannibal card routine. There's a rising card routine that also uses an iPhone app that's pretty cool. Then there's a card under box that's kind of similar to the cards to pocket routine. It's a multi-phase card under box, card in box. The deck disappears and goes back inside the box. I did that for the Marlowe conference in Chicago when I lectured for those guys. So there's some cool stuff in here, but I thought I don't want to rehash it. I'm going to do some new stuff for this lecture that I haven't done before. I hope everybody found some valuable stuff here.
Absolutely.
So these are on the website for $20, free delivery in the United States. Might have to work out something if you're in Australia or something. It's expensive to send it there. But those, on the website, you can find that. You can find a PDF download of my book, Power Plays from 2006. This is my best stuff, I think. My favorite stuff that I've come up with so far. But let's answer this question. We've only got 7 minutes left. The double lift from the center. It's on the DVD. I'm not trying to push that because I'm going to try to give you everything here for not having to buy
but you
anything.
should push it. I think you should push it. It's okay.
Well, anyway, the double lift from center. Let's get this view. I'm going to stand up and do it. So the double lift from center. Somebody says stop. Drop the brake. Somebody says stop. You legitimately stop where they say stop. You peel what seems to be a single card, and it's a double card.
Man, that's
so
awesome.
that's the basic idea. It's from Father Cyprian, and here are the details of it. I'll sit down again and show all the angles. So you get the deck up a little higher than dealing position. I usually move it up a little higher. There's a comfortable place where my thumb feels like that's where I want it to be to riffle. So you want to comfortably riffle the deck. Not that important where it is in your left hand. As the cards riffle off, you wait till they say stop. You legitimately stop there. Now your right second finger touches the outer left corner, but it can't be here. Your fingertip has to extend over into that gap between the two packets. At first, you probably want it to extend fairly far out there, and as you refine it, you'll make that smaller, and I'll show you what I mean. So a fairly large one would be here. When your finger's in position, you let two more cards fall onto your finger. I think you can see in the picture, right? There's two cards there, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to back away again and mention something else. On the right side of the deck, these three fingers should stay in contact with the deck all the time. In a minute, I'm going to rotate this top packet, and I'll show you those fingers. It's going to lay against those fingers. This is what you're supposed to be doing with that packet in a minute. Don't lift it away from those fingers. They have to rotate on those fingers like a hinge. So back into the game here. They said stop, your finger's over, you drop two cards. Now your right thumb is at the inner short edge, right, the inner left corner. You can see that. I don't want to, if I let go, I'll drop everything. I'm pivoting on those three fingers on the right long edge. Now, as this pivots, something's going to happen naturally. The double card needs to stay in contact with the deck proper, but this packet here is going to ride out. Watch this. See that? That's what happened when I rotated. The double card stays aligned and controlled between this fingertip, your second fingertip, and your thumb, and the rest of the cards are jogged a little bit. That means you can put that corner down and hold down a double.
Jeez, that's smart.
Now, it's not that hard to do. I really don't think it's, I mean, I really use this because it's I think it's the best one. I don't like these, it flips out and spins around my hand. And, you know, if your style is to do flashy stuff, some of those things are probably good things to do. I like to look like not flashy and just like it's natural. So if I'm going to stop and take two cards and just peel them, it's that peeling with your left thumb that makes it look so good. So let's go back over. That's really where the final work is to get the feeling that you just peeled that card. It's one fluid motion, but I'm going to break it down into steps here. So stop, 1, 2, come back. See that? Move this to the left. And what you want it to look like is that you peeled down, but really you put pressure on that corner and came away. So once you put pressure on that corner and pull, it feels like you did this and peeled a card. And if you did, it couldn't be a double. That's what's really deceptive about this, is it's not that they're thinking it's a double, it's that they could never think that it's a double. because of that action. When you do this, stop, and you just go like that,
Jeez.
how could that be a double? You know?
Looks great.
So it's a magician fooler as well if they don't know this technique. It was in my column in the Linking Ring, but it's not very well known. And you know, these are the advanced things. I hope we didn't have everybody sign off and go, oh man, we're doing palming and hard stuff here. These things are really worth learning. I mean, I kind of said I don't know if I want to learn a one-handed bottom palm and spend the time. I got to back that up and say, folks, these are not that time consuming. You can learn palming techniques in a matter of a few hours and feel like, dang, I can bottom palm, I can top palm, and I can do a double lift from the center. They're not that hard to get to where they're really workable.
Right. Wow.
So we got a few minutes left here. Let me look. I was going to do another trivia question. Should we throw one out there?
Sure. Why not? That'll be fun. Let me get.
Do we do 5 minutes of overtime, or are you going to hold us to 2 hours?
No, this is up to you. We can go as long as you want. I just want to respect your time, actually, Mike.
Let's see what we have here at the end. This was the cards to pocket stuff. Trivia question number 4.
Okay, I'm keeping my eyes on. Let me get my eyes on the. You guys get your hands on your keyboard. I'm going to.
Said magic is not simply about deceiving; it's about creating an illusion, the illusion of impossibility.
Oh my gosh! Okay,
I'm looking. If we don't get somebody, I'll throw out an easy one, and we'll get somebody.
Okay, I'm keeping. Look at. I don't see anybody typing. Hold on, I'm going to give him a second. Who said? Oh, here we go. Fitzky.
It's not simply about deceiving; it's about creating an illusion.
Nico
the illusion of impossibility.
Is it Fitzky? Daryl Fitzky?
Nope. Good possibility though.
How about Ramon Riobu or Dunninger?
Nope.
Wow. Somebody's Googling, I'm sure, at this point.
They might find it. We don't want to kill too much time.
Yeah, let's try the next one. No Googling here.
I'll tell you who it is.
Okay, who is that?
Darwin Ortiz.
Darwin Ortiz.
Designing Miracles. Yeah, it's a great quote. I mean, it's really something to think about. Okay, name a Canadian magician, card magician, best known for gambling, known as the Charming Cheat.
The Charming Cheat. Who is that, guys? Martin Nash, Nico.
Got it.
Nico, you did it, my friend.
All right, Martin Nash is correct.
All right, that's excellent. All right, so Nico, you'll get to take your pick, my friend. He's got some decks there.
These decks. I think these are what's left. I got the Ask Alexander cards, the Bicycle Leaf back cards, or a pair of Sky Island. These are really weird. The pips are blue and like strange colors. These are for cardistry or something.
He said sky. The sky.
What's the sky?
Uh-huh.
All right, 2 decks.
Wow, look at that, Nico. That's really nice of you, Mike, to do that. Wow. Awesome.
Cool. Let's see what we have here. These are take a little bit of time here. What was I going to do? I know one thing we could do right at the very end. This was in my Penguin lecture. Does everybody know this thing with a straw that I do?
I think it's really cool. I saw it on your Penguin lecture, but for those, I saw that not everybody saw your lecture.
You know what the problem is? It's humid in my room here, and that may make it hard to do. So this is the last. This is something that if you don't know it, it's really fun. So
and it looks like real magic.
We'll try it out. We'll try it out. We'll see if this is going to work or not. So there we go. Not too bad. Yeah, it's not. No, this is not what it should be. No, the humidity's killing me. It's very humid in here. Basically, I think on my promo for Power Plays, this thing is just spinning around like crazy. So long story short, just play with this. It's a lot of fun. Take a straw, open up the paper. I only had 1 straw. I'm totally unprepared for this. I'm sorry. But open up the paper, and this would be covered with paper. As you're removing the straw, squeeze down, squeeze the paper against the straw as hard as you can. You want to flatten the straw. Drag this through the paper with great force, and you will put a static charge on the plastic of the straw. When that charge is on there, it will be attracted to anything that's a conductor. Your body is a good enough conductor. Humidity kills the effect.
Does touching that straw with your hand remove?
Not really. It's not a conductor, so the electrons that are kind of laying on the surface, they don't flow like they would in a copper wire. If this was copper wire that was charged, as soon as you touched it, all those electrons would leave and exit through your body to ground. But this is not going to be charged anymore. I know we're almost out of time here, so it won't even respond. But if a nice air-conditioned environment, hold the straw between your two fingers like this. So you've pulled it through, the charge is on there, hold it between your two fingers and set it on a salt shaker or a ketchup bottle. This is ideal, a flat metal thing that's curved because you want to minimize the friction. Now it's moving right now because of the air currents in the room. But if it's charged, as soon as I bring my fingers nearby, this side will want to move that way, counterclockwise. This side will want to move this way. Don't put both hands on the same side. It'll just roll off. But if you do this, it'll start to rotate this way. Then you can reinforce that. And if it touches you, you're not going to lose much charge. You'll still be fine. It's really fun to do. If you know what to do, try it out. And just the straw will move around. You're not using your breath, which is what the traditional method would be assumed to be.
Now, not to create a crediting war, I remember seeing this done because I did something similar when I worked at this restaurant, and it's Matt Sconce does something where I would use a pin. It was called spin. Is that something? I mean, you know, we get into these things.
There was something where a guy had a pen that was charged, and then he made it fall off of a right. He would balance the pen at the edge of the table. And because of the charge, you could move your hand nearby, and it would be enough force to cause it to fall off the table or something. Is that the one you're talking about?
In this case, it's actually like you could use a. I used a ketchup bottle when I was at the restaurant, but you can get it to spin. It's similar. It's basically similar. You're getting that static charge a certain way. I won't expose it necessarily, but it's similar. And you're using your hands to get the thing spinning.
I don't remember when was that. When did he publish that?
Man, it has to be like 6 years ago. It's been a while since I've been at that restaurant, but maybe Ian can tell me. I'll send you the link. Again, it's not. I suppose it's neither here nor there, but I know that something.
No. Those I'm always curious about what's going on. It's the same principle, but yeah, I mean, this was in 2006. This was in my book, so. You know, I mean, if the things that there's something in Tarbell for using a straw to knock a cigarette over. The precursors to this, Mike Weber had, I think Mike Weber had that. You use a straw and you charge it, and now you hold the cigarette's balanced, and you bring it near the cigarette, and the cigarette topples over. And this is an old physics kinds of stuff. You charge up the rod, and the rod's really heavy usually, and then you make things move. Like you charge up your comb and you pick up little pieces of paper. Right. The inversion that I applied to it, certainly the idea of doing it is, you know, Ben Franklin knew about this, but making the straw be the thing that moves was kind of my innovation. Usually you use the straw to make something else move. Here, it's the straw is what moves. And I think that's what was new with what I call it science friction in the book.
That's good, Mike. I'll send you a link later on, and you can just kind of check it out yourself. But
okay, yeah, cool.
I'll tell you what, man, this has been really great. And again, I can't thank you enough for your willingness to do this. I learned some stuff. Again, fellas, for those of you who are watching this, I'll send out the link. It takes a while for this to upload to YouTube and then for me to make it private. But I will send an email out to all of you, and you'll be able to access that link again. Where you're unable to do that and you run into troubles, you'll just have to reply to me with whatever email address that you use to log into your YouTube account. That's what I need in order to grant you the privileges to watch the thing. But Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really I appreciate what you've done here. Get a lot of value for just $5. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I hope everybody got something. And I first experienced using my little switcher here. I think I wasn't very good with it. This is my first time around, and I'd forget what the view was, and that was kind of inevitable in the heat of the moment. The best would be to have a director who is sitting out there making the switching. Then you have a Penguin Live style.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
No, but this, I liked this. I think I would try to do it again maybe in the future, and I learned a lot by messing with it. I hope I wasn't doing too many jump cuts, fixing my camera, and above all, I hope that some of the material was worth learning. That's the real goal. I hope that everybody got something worthwhile. So.
Yeah, it looks like people are all thanking you on the chat, so I think everybody felt like this was great. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Magicians Forum, again, I'd invite you to go and check it out. It's a small community, but a lot of great magicians there, knowledgeable and very friendly. So I hope you'll take a time to go check that out. And Mike, thanks again, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Rudy. I second the motion for Magicians Forum. It's a really fun place to be, so check it out, guys.
Thanks, guys. All right, well, I'm signing off, and you'll be getting this link. It should be about an hour or so. So thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you at the next lecture, whatever that might be. All right, guys, take care.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.